Well, hi, and welcome to the first edition of Ask Mike, a program that we're introducing to try and answer questions that you might have regarding activities of the community and to give you more information about those things that are going on that we think might be of interest to you. You can ask any kind of question you like by either writing or calling my office, but the best method is probably using email. You can email me directly at Mike-T, that's M-I-K-E-T, at easthampton.org. Today we're going to talk about two items that have been on the minds of a lot of folks and that people have asked me about in the last couple of weeks. One is the LED street lighting project and the other is the new Easthampton High School project. The LED lighting project is a part of our Green Communities initiative. In 2010, the city of Easthampton was nominated and received its designation as a green community in Massachusetts. That means that the city has adopted rules and regulations that improve energy consumption in city buildings and with city vehicles. And it also opens up an opportunity for the city to apply for and receive grant funding that will help us do things that save money. In reviewing the grant requirements and talking to city staff and looking at our electric bills, we decided that it would be helpful if we did a project that was a little bit unique for Massachusetts cities and towns. Many of our sister green communities have been doing energy efficiency projects in buildings, and as we have used their grants to implement some of those projects. We decided that we would try to be a leader in green efficiency and look at alternatives that most communities aren't dealing with. And street lighting is a major use of electricity in Easthampton and a pretty significant cost, about $110,000 a year to provide the lights that are on city streets throughout the community. When we looked at the lighting that currently exists, we examined its cost and its efficiency and decided that LED lighting could save a significant amount of money. We'd been talking about LED lighting internally and with the utility company for the past 3 years, but the technology hadn't been fully developed in order to make us confident that we'd be able to put up lights that would have the durability and provide the lighting that was necessary for the roads until this year. So we took a $170,000 grant from the Green Communities and developed a program that would replace all of our sodium lighting with light-emitting diodes. These lights are long-lasting. They have a useful life of approximately 15 years compared to a 5-year useful life of the existing lights, and they will use less than half of the energy. So we're replacing a total of 469 lights with new lights using the $170,000 grant from the Green Communities program and another $50,000 that's being provided by Western Mass Electric Company. You've probably seen the new lights on Route 10 and Route 141. Those are 88-watt lights that have replaced lights that used 311 watts before. Overall, the program will have a payback of about 6 years and save roughly $36,000 a year in electricity and maintenance costs just on the street lighting alone. In addition, under the Green Communities program, we are looking at building improvements and have contracted with Siemens, which is an energy consulting service, to look at the power consumption in our major buildings, and those buildings are the municipal office building, the public safety complex, Whitebrook Middle School, Pepin School, Maple Street School, and Center School. Those are the buildings that use the most power here in the community. And we're probably going to implement a $1 million improvement in those buildings in order to save energy. And that'll be the subject of the next program on green communities and energy savings in Easthampton. Our next topic today is the Easthampton High School project. As you're all aware, voters 2 years ago approved a debt exclusion that allows us to...
Okay, so 3, 2, 1.
Our next topic today is an update on the Easthampton High School project. as you're all aware, the Easthampton voters approved a debt exclusion that allowed us to move forward with a new construction project for Easthampton High School. That whole activity had been in the pipeline since 1999, when the school committee created a futures committee that would look at the need for school buildings throughout the community in the next century. And that committee met and identified two major projects. The project that we're working on is the high school project, and the other major project that we will be working on after the high school project is an elementary school project. The high school project started out as a renovation. When we first began looking at the needs of the community for a more modern high school facility, we thought that it would be most cost efficient to take the existing building, which is about 50 years old now, and do some renovations, a small expansion, do some updates to the facility, and be able to serve the needs for the next 50 years by reusing that building, because we've essentially never torn down a school building in Easthampton. The first school buildings are still standing, and we thought that we would be able to continue using the high school on Williston Avenue the same as we have in other schools. In 2003, we made a proposal to the City Council that essentially asked them if we could move forward to the voters for approval and then seek state grant funding. That request to City Council was not approved, and we were unable to get under the school building program that was in existence in 2003. Fast forward to 2009, made the same sort of requests under the new program. City Council was very, very supportive, and we began the discussion about what's the right project for the high school. Is it, in fact, updating the current building, or would it make more sense to put a freestanding addition, or is a new building necessary? And what are the cost implications of all that? We met with the State School Building Authority, we hired an architect, and we hired a project manager, and we began to investigate all of our options. That process took probably close to 15 months, and what we discovered is that because of changes in the building code, reuse of the existing building would be extremely expensive and cost prohibitive. And it turns out that actually constructing a new high school is less expensive, and in the long run much better for the community, because it would be a new building, than trying to renovate or put an addition on the current building. And so that's the project that's underway today. We've decided to locate the new high school on the same property as the current high school. And if you were there today, you would notice that the entire north side or right side of the property, when looking at it from Williston Avenue, has been fenced off and is now the subject of a construction site. This fall, there's going to be a change in traffic patterns, and it's for the next 2 years. We're going to continue to hold classes and provide full programs at Easthampton High School, but the traffic patterns will be very different, and there'll be a bit more congestion on the lot than anyone is used to. This week we're doing installation of a new parking lot so that the amount of parking at the site will remain the same, and as a matter of fact, the lot that the students used to use, the mud lot on the north side that's been replaced with a construction site, those spaces are going to be duplicated in a new parking lot. So all of the parking that was available will still be available in a slight reconfiguration, and no one's going to have to park in the mud. So that's an advantage for the next couple of years anyway. Right now we're doing preload on the building site. So at this point in time, there is about 12 feet of fill material that's been placed on top of the proposed building site. Those materials are imitating the weight of the building so that we'll be able to settle the soils so that when the building is constructed, it won't have the same sort of problems as the current structure did, and that is a bit of settling and some cracking associated with that. Prior to doing the preload, the city, with its general contractor, installed about 900 stone developed columns below the soil. Some of these up to 15 feet below where the building will be. That effort was a part of the engineering done by our architect, Kalo and Bienick, to solidify the soil beneath the building site so that we have a very stable platform to build on. That building construction project is estimated to go a total of about 25 months, including a couple of major points as we get further along in the project, that being the completion of this building so that we can move students in the spring of 2013 during that school year into the new building to allow the contractor to move to the existing building and begin the deconstruction. That building will be demolished at the end of the project, and there'll be only a single building located on that site. The neighbors have been impacted pretty significantly during this early phase of construction because there was a fairly large forest on that section of the high school parcel that needed to be removed. It was very mature stand, 60-year-old pine trees, and it took a lot of equipment and a lot of activity on the site. And it also changed the perspective that the neighbors, especially along Garfield Avenue, have for the site. And so the city has tried to be responsive and responsible to its neighbors, and we have tried to minimize the inconvenience. But in a construction project like this, that's a very difficult thing to do, and we regret that there have been some inconveniences to the neighbors that we've been trying to mitigate as best we can. The loudest or the most annoying, I guess, part of the project has been the installation of those stone columns. We're happy to say that was part of the first 4 or 5 weeks of construction. We've passed through all that now, and the work on the site is much more conventional, and it is much less aggravating to the neighbors because it's simply the movement of soil. Once the soil that's been set on the site has been there for probably 3 to 5 weeks, and the survey is going on every day to watch the settlement, and once the soil is settled to the point where the engineers are comfortable that we've gotten the compression that we're looking for, all the material that's currently on the site will be removed, and the footings and foundation will begin to be constructed. There'll be a lot of truck traffic over the next few weeks, probably through the 3rd week or 4th week in September, as the materials that are currently deposited on the site are removed. And then the construction, the conventional construction that most people associate with the new buildings will begin. The construction is going to be year-round, and so they'll be going straight through the winter. The first part of it is concrete work to create the foundation and to create the base of the building, and that'll be followed by steel erection, which will likely happen this fall and over the winter. And then the building will be enclosed in the spring, and the process will move forward. If you have any questions about that project, we have weekly construction meetings, and so you can forward those questions to me if you have concerns or if you have specific issues that you would like addressed individually. We'd be happy to do that. And the high school construction project will continue to be one of the topics that we'll discuss as the project moves forward, and hopefully we'll be able to bring you some video and some films of the site and keep you up to date on how we're moving forward. Hi. This program is coming to you today from the new municipal television studio located on the top floor at 50 Payson Avenue. 50 Payson Avenue is a municipal office building located next to the pond, and it is now the home of the future city council chambers and school committee chambers. We had an open meeting room on the 2nd floor, which is within the school department offices, and we had used it for many meetings, but not for the official televised meetings because we didn't have television facilities here. Thanks to the customers of Charter Communications, in your cable bill, you've provided the funding necessary to be able to build this new studio. We've invested about $15,000 in materials and about the same amount in labor and design to be able to fully equip this meeting room with sound and cameras and a wonderful seating area that we'll be able to use now and in the future. I want to thank Greg and staff at ECAT for their help and assistance and for doing the work to hire the contractors that provided the services and design for this. And I'd like to highlight the furnishings in the room, in particular the seating. These seating modules, there are 5 modules that make this semicircle of seating of 10 seats for the city councilors. And they were designed and constructed by the students at the New England Center of Architectural Woodworking located at 1 Cottage Street. If you get a look at these when you come in, or in the shots that are going to be in this program, you'll see the wonderful workmanship that's been put into these facilities. And we are so grateful to the students at NESAW for their expertise, and especially the instructors for their guidance and for helping to assemble the furniture here so that we're able to have a professional meeting space that serves the community in a very cost-effective way, that also highlights one of the wonderful educational facilities, the NESAW school that's here in Easthampton. Well, thanks for taking the time to watch this new program, and to provide any kind of questions you might have. Don't forget that you can email me anytime. It's Mike T, M-I-K-E-T, at easthampton.org. This is Ask Mike, and we're always looking to try to answer your questions.